The BetaFPV HX100. So let's just start off right off the bat, flying this guy outside using the propellers that they include, which are these ones here. So this flight that you're originally seeing is on a 3S 450 milliamp hour battery, which is definitely probably a little too heavy for this tiny little quad, but it was the only XT30 battery that we had at the time to use it. Now keep in mind, when running 3S, they do recommend that you use this smaller diameter propeller. As you can see, I'm using these 65mm ones, which obviously are quite a bit larger, but I'll go more into detail into that later. So right off the bat, the flying experience was definitely very, very powerful on 100% 3S punches with these little guys. Obviously, it is a quad blade. It has a quite unique sound and had a lot of punch to it. However, since we were flying this in a relatively large spot, especially for a tiny little quad like this, it definitely could use some more speed overall, which is why very quickly I ended up going to the 65mm propellers that they include in the kit. And now when I went to these, since they do recommend you run this on 2S, I actually did an 80% throttle cut since all we had was 3S, so that was very simple to set up in Betaflight. There's many tutorials on YouTube if you don't know how to do it. But the flight experience with that, which is footage I'm showing you now, was pretty good. It definitely, I'd say it had less punch, but it had more overall sustained speed. Once again, the battery we were using was a 3S 450, which is quite large. You probably want to use a 3S 300 or a 2S 450 for this. So it was definitely overweight when we were flying it. However, because the battery was so large, we're getting extremely long flight times of like 6-7 minutes. I was letting a couple different people fly this, so it was really, really nice to be able to just keep flying it for so long. Real quick, taking a look at the quad and what you get, pretty much it's the carbon frame. The only complaint I have about the frame is there's a couple weak points. Like it's not the strongest frame. It's very flexy. However, it is so small, so light, and it's 2mm carbon. And to be fair, we did crash this thing a lot. We slammed this thing into everything, into metal, into pavement, and it did not break anything. I was really worried when we crashed, but nothing actually happened, so I will give it credit. I feel like the frame could be a little stronger, but I haven't broken it yet. The canopy is pretty much a molded plastic, which should be fine on something this small and light. The camera in there is a little Runcam Nano, which actually looks quite good. The motors are BetaFPV 1103 8000 kV, if I can get this to focus right there. Nice motors to be able to run 2 or 3S, switching between these props or the smaller quad blades if you want. The ESC internally is a 4-in-1 12 amp from BetaFPV, as well as the flight controller. And then as we look to the bottom, you can probably see I have Crossfire in this thing, and that is one really nice thing about this. You can see they actually put the Crossfire Nano receiver in there, which is my favorite control link. When you order this, you're actually able to select which receiver: Spectrum, FreeSky, FlySky, Crossfire. They have a bunch of different ones on there, and it'll come pre-installed for the extra cost of the receiver, which is extremely nice. So you can pretty much use any radio and be able to fly this guy without any hassle, and it comes almost completely set up. You just need to set your switches like ARM and your modes in Betaflight. As for the VTX, it's embedded inside of there. I'm not going to take it out, but it is a 25 and 200 milliwatt VTX, so you're not limited to just 25 milliwatts, and I'll show you guys here. I was like, why not we try to long range this thing? It's on Crossfire, so yeah, there's no way my control link is going to fail. I've flown Crossfire a couple miles out on like 95 link quality, so I didn't have a link quality put on the OSD on this thing, but I was extremely confident in the Crossfire's ability, so it was really just video breakup. And now for this, I was using a clear view with patches aimed out, but you can see I think I actually went about half a mile. It was just so small, it was very windy up that high, it was pushing this little guy around quite a bit. I definitely could have gone farther with the video, but I thought half a mile was good enough, so I decided to bring it back. Let's go ahead and get a weight on the quad here without the battery, obviously. Oops, and it weighs about 47.6 grams. And obviously, once you add a little 3S 300, 2S 450, something around there, it is going to be well under the 250 gram mark, so there will be no need to register. And it does have a little XT30 for the main power input, which is nice because if they use something smaller, you definitely would be limited. And you can see there is a little capacitor in line with it there, so that should help clean up a little bit of the power noise. So we did actually try to tune this, and now when tuning micro quads, I don't have much experience. as well as Betaflight has changed a lot since I've really been invested. I've just been really busy with school. But this is the tune that we did end up with. We basically just increased the gains a lot. Now keep in mind this was for a 3S 80% throttle cap on these propellers. Obviously using these propellers, it was a lot better because these are quad blades and it was more locked in. Because we were just trying to get it to feel a little bit more like a 5-inch, more locked in. With these larger bi-blades, it can be a little bit looser, so we compensated with the extra gain. But overall, I'd say if you're looking to fly this in a relatively small area like a park, I think this is a really good option. If you're flying something really tight, and I think these would definitely be a good idea to keep on the quad blades, but anywhere pretty much outdoors where you have a moderate amount of room, I think opening up for the quad blades is definitely going to help. They're just a lot bigger prop disc, and they give you more efficiency overall, and just make for a better flight experience. But if you're a huge fan of the quad blades, which I know a lot of people are, they do grip insanely well, and if you want really good control, you can stick with those. So yeah, that's pretty much going to do it for the review of the BetaFPV HX100. Not a bad little quad for about $110, already pre-built, very nice quality overall, and there will be links down in the description below if you are interested. Thanks for watching, please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.